What's up there, fellas? How you doing? Hopefully you're doing good. Hopefully your day is going great. But hey, welcome to Famous Football. I'm your host Nate. Let's talk football. We're gonna be discussing Chelsea and Bayern, or Bayern versus Chelsea, the UCL clash tomorrow. This is my preview. I'm gonna be giving you my prediction for the game lineup, what I think Chelsea should expect from Bayern, and how the game I think could turn out and everything. But stay tuned for that. Don't go anywhere. But before we get into all of that, how about you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, support me, support this channel, right? It's a small channel. Please, we need the love, we need the support. I need it. Thank you very much. Let's get into it. Bayern versus Chelsea, right? We know, right? There's a history there. I think it's not the same history as we have with Barcelona, right? But there's a history between us and Bayern. You know what I mean? We won a Champions League game against Bayern. We went to their home, where we're going tomorrow, where we're going to be playing, where Chelsea's going to be playing in that same stadium. We won a Champions League final, right? We won our very first Champions League. So we're no stranger to that home. But over the years, Bayern have been dominating Chelsea whenever we meet them in the Champions League, right? We lost against them whenever we meet them. It hasn't been good. Can this turn around? Can this right now turn around? Right now, Bayern is showing good form, or the entire Bayern team is showing good form. Now they have quality player all around the pitch. When I say quality player, from their goalkeeper up to their forward, quality, right? Neuer is quality. They have Upamecano in defense. They have Tar as well in defense. So in terms of quality now, their fullback, I don't think they are as great as our fullback, right? I would say I don't think their left back can make it with Cucurella. I don't think their right back can make it with James. No, I don't think so. Now Gusto, right? We know they wanted Gusto at some point as well, but in terms of their entire team collectively, they're showing great form. Bayern is showing, they played 3 league games and they managed to score 14 goals as compared to us that we've played 4 and we managed to score 9 goals, right? So in terms of form entering this game, Bayern is entering this game with a much better form than Chelsea are entering this game, right? That nobody can deny that. Bayern is entering with, now they play 5 games. Now one was in the league, it's like a league game or something. But all in all, they have managed to score, I think, about 19 goals, if I'm not mistaken, in those 5 games. So they're showing great form, you know. Luis Diaz hit the ground running. Olise is class for them, right? Harry Kane has been Harry Kane, right? Now they have Nicola Jackson, not just him, but they have other people as well. And in their midfield, they have Kimmich, which have been one of their most consistent players over the years. And then Goretzka is also in there. So in terms of players, they do have quality. They do have depth. This game is not going to be the same as the game that Chelsea been playing, right, over in the Premier League. Now, no disrespect to the teams we've been playing, right? So far, it's going to be way more difficult. First of all, it's a Champions League game. It's not a friendly game. And in a Champions League, right, the competition itself has its own pressure, right? And then the pressure of the team that you're playing with or playing against, Bayern, is a quality side, right? It's one of the biggest things in Europe. So that alone comes with its own pressure, his own tension. Now, Chelsea is also a quality side, and they also come with their own pressure and tension as well. So the game, the competition, the teams, you know, it makes it good. But like I said, Bayern is entering this game with a good form, and Chelsea we're not entering into the game with a terrible form, but we are not as great as Bayern, right? If you get what I mean. So what do I think? What Chelsea can do to stop Bayern, right? First of all, we have to know that Bayern, their top 5 player in Harry Kane, Olise, Diaz, and now Kimmich, and you can add Neuer to that list as well as their top 5 players. Harry Kane is class. He's playing in the Premier League. He's familiar with the league. He's familiar with, you know, the flow of the Premier League. Diaz has also done the same. Olise have also done the same. Now Kimmich will be the only person, and Neuer as well. But 3 of those players have played in the Premier League. Even their manager, they play in the Premier League, right? So in terms of being familiar with the Premier League style, they will be able to be familiar with it. But they play in similar formation to us in terms of the formation. Maybe not the same system, right? But the formation is the same, right? 4-2-3-1. That's the same setup we do, right? But they use their fullbacks. overlaps, almost in like a traditional sense, overlap, so going back and forth, up and down, right? They do use their fullback in that manner, but it's different from us in terms of the way we set up. So when they attack, they also attack with like 5-6 players as well, because often you see Goretzka that joins into the attack, and he usually that ends kind of like Enzo Fernandez that make that late run into the box. So we usually see him, and they also have other people that also fill in that position if Goretzka is not there and he's absent. Right now, I know he didn't play the last game, but I can tell you for a fact if he's injured or he's not. But he's also been one of their most consistent players. And they also have a Hurricane that is a threat. Luis Diaz that is also a threat, right? You have Olise that is also a threat. So in this game, we have to be defensively solid and avoid every silly mistake that we can possibly make, considering the way we play with the inverted fullback as well. Now, if we are intending to do that, right, then we have to be very careful, because now that may favor or in something in terms of overloading the midfield and adding that extra body, giving us an advantage to be able to play the style of football we want to play, because we want to play possession-based football. And for you to be able to do that, you have to, be able to dominate the midfield. That kind of shows that you will gain some sort of control over the game, right? So for us to do that now, if that inverted fullback comes in, but now like I said multiple times, the problem with that is that once we get caught, we are vulnerable on that side, right? Oftentimes, everybody have to be alert, whoever it is. So Chalobah, whoever that is covering that left hand side or that right hand side, who is inverting. Now, once we are out, the speed have to be there, because Bayern do have those people. Diaz have the speed, the pace. He also have the skill, the ability to be able to kill us. So is Olise. So when we do the whole inverting thing, we have to be very, very much careful. And nobody should be caught slacking, because this game, the last goal that we considered that ended the game 2-2, we switched off. We switched off for a second. The way the ball went in, or the way that goal happened, you could tell that we switched off for a second, or at least somebody wasn't doing what they're supposed to do. And in this game, we cannot afford to do that. People be slacking, because if you slack against a team like Bayern, it's going to be a problem, and we cannot start this game slow. Now we know it's a disadvantage, considering the fact we go into their home to play in their home. That's going to be a disadvantage in itself, right? But we cannot start the game slow. We have to take the game to them in similar manner, like we did with PSG, right? Bayern is a quality side, but if we allow Bayern to do what Bayern can do, we will get hurt. And now, there's no guarantee that if they go up 1-0, we're going to come back and we did not. I'm not going to say we can, because over the past games, or from last season coming into this season, we have shown, even this game, we have shown that whenever we go down 1-0, or we are able to, we show some sort of good mentality and good strength to be able to come back, maybe sometime win the game, draw the game, and get a result out of the game, right? So we've shown that we can do that, but it's Bayern, right? There's no guarantee. You don't want to go there starting the game on your left foot. You want to start the game on your right foot. At least give us some sort of advantage. Let's take the game to them. So now, with that being said, I would rather us start the game in similar manner, like the way we play against PSG, right? The same tactic, the same setup, the same idea, the same, now maybe you can make a couple tweaks here and there, or you can bring different players in, but in terms of the philosophy of how we are to approach Bayern, I think it should be in the same manner, or otherwise we will get killed. And again, we cannot, like I said, we cannot be slacking. So with that, right, I will go with pretty much the same lineup. Now, my very first lineup is pretty much the same lineup as what we had against PSG in the Club World Cup final, right? So Cucurella left back, Chalobah, Tosin, right? Gusto, but in that game we have Leverkusen instead of Tosin, right? So Gusto, James, Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez in front of them, Neto, and then Palma on the right hand side, and then João Pedro, right, up front, right? So that would be it for me. That would be how we start for me. Sanchez obviously in goal. If you didn't get that, Sanchez is in goal. Nobody right now. So until man can come in, then we'll be making some sort of a decision. But for now, there isn't much of a the decision isn't tough, right? Sanchez is in goal. We know that, and he's been showing great form lately. in terms of stopping short and safe. He ain't been showing good form. Now, like I said in previous video, he haven't been making the mistake that he usually do make last season. So, we are okay with in that area, and he's doing good, like I said. But I will go with this formation, and I will go with this group of players. This will be my very first choice, right? And I think they can get the job done. We see Enzo Fernandez this game. For me, he was one of the quality players in that game as well, in terms of consistency, keeping the level, keeping the ball moving. He was doing what we know he can do. Now we also see Rich James in the midfield. He's been good in that area as well, so that's brilliant, right? And then we allow Gusto to be that traditional fullback, while Cucurella can do the inverting if we need Cucurella to do. And then we already have James in there in the midfield. So if Gusto is caught up there, Rich James can cover for him, and we don't really skip a beat or nothing is missing, because Rich James also, that's his natural position. I think that was one of the things that helped us against PSG as well. And then we have Cucurella as well, and then we had Neto that was also playing as a wing back, almost like a wing back, so he will cover for Cucurella whenever Cucurella invert. So there wasn't really struggling in terms of defensive covering, right? So we were okay. Now if we can maintain that same kind of idea, then that's proper, because one good thing in that game was the fact that when Gusto overlap or when Gusto go up, now it gives Bayern wing fullback something to worry about, and that allow Palmer to be in that half space, right? In that half space between the midfield and in the wing. So he's operating right in there, and that's kind of like his sweet spot where he loves to be, because once he gave Palmer a ball in those areas, he's good at those first touch. That usually goes well for him. So put him in those positions, that usually help. And now we also have João Pedro that can also operate in similar position. And then you have Enzo Fernandez that is good at operating in those areas and making sure the ball move. Now Caicedo and Rich James do help bring balance. Now Lavia is not okay. Lavia can also be in there, right? But I also have another formation that I think Chelsea can go with that would be beneficial to us as well. But this one right here would be my very first choice, right? Because it just makes sense. Gusto was there going up and down. Cucurella is there for defensive. Now you have Tosin and Chalobah that have been very, very consistent for us over the past few games, right? They've been solid. They've been showing good form. So and I love it. And then Neto, like I said, right? His work rate. He's absolutely brilliant. You can count on this guy in terms of defense, in terms of attack. He's involved in almost everything. He's been one of Chelsea's most consistent players this season, I would say, so far, right? But equally so, I also have another formation that we can possibly go with, right? And this one include Estevan Williams. So if you look at it, it's pretty much the same, almost the same thing, but Estevan Williams is involved. So Palmer is playing as a 10. Instead of playing on the wing, and then Enzo Fernandez in his usual position, right, as usual. And then Gusto is out and Rich James is in, and then Esteban is also on there. But Neto remain, João Pedro remain, almost everything is the same. So the only person that is pretty much being added here is Esteban Williams. And the reason why I put him here is this, because he will do almost exactly what Cole Palmer will do. And now having him on the page also give defender more to worry about at this point. Right? Also give defender more to worry about, in the sense that whenever he has the ball, he looks to move with it. He looks to do something with it, right? And he's very skillful. He's very talented. So in terms of progressing with the ball, we can trust him on that, right? And then you also have Cole Palmer that is also tasked with that creative responsibility. Now, João Pedro can also do that, like I said, right? Pedro Neto, we also see him with that cross into the box that he usually makes, and it's been good so far. It's been working, right? And Enzo Fernandez that is capable of making the late run and also can be creative if we need him to be. But Estevan could be very beneficial to us in this game in terms of taking on players, in terms of being very direct. He could be very beneficial to us in this game. So I'm okay with him starting on the bench and then coming on later in the game. But if Maresca decides to start him, I won't be totally against it. Now, it's going to be his very first UCL game, so I don't think Maresca is just going to throw him out there. But I won't be surprised if he is a starter in this game, right? But with the way we set up, like I talked about before, right? If we set up defensively in a high press situation, I know what Caicedo usually step, or almost everybody will step up to the half line when we're doing a high press, right? So that's pretty good. And in terms of when we're building up as well, we have to create, more opportunity for us to be able to get the ball out. And we know Bayern, like, they're not necessarily like a super high press team, but they're also good in terms of structure, right? Defensive structure, they're good. They don't just allow. They have managed to concede, I think, at least 3 goals or 4 goals in their last 3-4 games, right? So that's good. That's pretty good. Now, maybe almost the same as us in some sense, but they managed to do that. So in terms of defensive or structure, they're also solid. But I think we have the aggression, we will have the pace, and I trust our midfield to be able to have control of this game. As much as I know Bayern midfield is also competent, but I also trust Chelsea midfield to be able to have control of this game, because Enzo, Palmer, and Caicedo, they bring something to our midfield. It's like that perfect balance. You have Caicedo is kind of like the destroyer, Enzo kind of the guy that kind of get things going and get the rhythm, right? And Cole Palmer make sure that things happen, right? So it's like we have almost, quote unquote, the perfect midfield, right? So I think our midfield should be able to control this game. Plus the inverting of the fullback will also give us that dominance that we will need in the midfield, right? To be able to do what we want to do within the game. And all I can say is this: we have to be as clinical as possible. We cannot just, be doing whatever we want. This is Bayern, because if Harry Kane has a chance, he's buried in it, right? He had one chance, that could be his only chance in the game. 9 out of 10 times, he's going to bury it. If Olise have one, he might as well. Luis D, as we also know, he might as well, right? And now they have Gnabry that could also come, Kimmich that could also take shot from outside of the box. Goretzka is known for that as well. So they also have brilliant players. So if we can try to nullify those people, we should be good. And do I think Chelsea can? Yes, we can. This is not me being out of my mind here, but I think we have the ability and the potential to be able to nullify them. Now, I don't think they are PSG, right? And I don't think maybe they are Barcelona. I think they are one of the best teams in Europe as of now, right? So yes. But I also think Chelsea can. And I also think we have the mentality to be able to do what we can do, to be able to go to Bayern and at least get a win. And I think we can get away with that. So with that being said, my prediction for this game, I'm going Chelsea 2, Bayern 1. Now, the reason why Bayern won, because we can, for some reason, we don't know how to keep a clean sheet. If we keep a clean sheet, it's a draw. But if we win in a game, we can barely keep a clean sheet. The opponent's always going to score a goal. So I'm going by Chelsea 2 or Bayern 1, Chelsea 2. That's my prediction for the game. And who's going to be on the score sheet? I'll give it to you. Cole Palmer and João Pedro. Yeah? Cole Palmer and João Pedro, and this is gonna be it. Chelsea's coming home with the win, and I know the boys probably they already traveled by now, going to Bayern. Yeah, let's see, going to Munich. Let's get the win. The last time we were there, where it didn't go well, but we won a Champions League final there, right? There's a history there. We have a record of winning at that ground, yeah? So let's go. Let's see if we can continue it. But I think we can. But let me know your thoughts about everything we discussed. What do you think, right? How do you think Chelsea should settle? What do you think Maresca should do tactically to be able to help this team, right? Do you agree with my lineup? The first one, the second one, which one would you go with? Which one would you rather? Let me know your thoughts about that, right? But thank you very much. Much appreciated. See you tomorrow. Listen, I might be bringing you another video, review about the Champions League game happening today. And I'll also talk about the one happening tomorrow as well. But thank you very much. See you later. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Cheers.